There is a moment that almost every dog owner knows. You walk through the front door after a long day, and before you can even set your bag down, your dog is already there, tail spinning like a helicopter blade, eyes bright, body wiggling with a kind of pure, unfiltered joy that most humans only experience a handful of times in their entire lives. And in that moment, something happens inside you too. Your shoulders drop, your breath slows, you smile without deciding to, and for just a second, the weight of the world lifts. That moment is not accidental. It is not just habit or instinct on your dog's part. It is the visible expression of something much deeper, a genuine emotional bond built over thousands of years of coevolution between humans and dogs, and reinforced every single day through the small, quiet ways you show your love. But here's the thing most people never stop to think about. Your dog does not experience your love the way another human would. They do not read your texts. They do not understand your long explanations of why you were gone so long. They do not care about the gift you bought them from the airport. What your dog understands is something far more primal, far more honest, and in many ways far more profound. They read your body. They read your scent. They read the rhythm of your breath and the tension in your muscles. They are, in the truest sense of the word, fluent in you, and the question worth asking is whether you are being fluent back. Modern neuroscience has given us tools to look inside the canine brain in ways that were simply not possible even 20 years ago. Research using MRI technology on awake, trained dogs has revealed something remarkable: the caudate nucleus, a brain region associated with positive emotions and reward, lights up in dogs when they smell their owner. Not food, not a toy. Their owner's scent alone is enough to trigger the same neurological response that humans associate with anticipation, pleasure, and love. A dog's nose is estimated to be anywhere from 10,000 to 100,000 times more sensitive than a human nose, and the largest portion of that incredible sensory power is dedicated to tracking the world's emotional landscape. When you come home stressed, your dog smells the cortisol seeping through your pores. When you are relaxed and happy, they smell that too. You are an open, emotional book to them, written in chemicals they can read from across a room. What this means practically is that your love cannot be faked with your dog. You cannot be internally furious and outwardly calm and expect your dog to believe the performance. They already know. What you can do, and what this script is really about, is learn the specific psychologically grounded ways that dogs actually receive and feel love, and then practice those ways intentionally every single day. Not because your dog doubts you, but because every act of genuine connection deepens the bond, builds security, reduces anxiety, and contributes to a longer, healthier, happier life for the animal who has decided that you are the center of their entire world. The first way to show love in a language your dog actually understands is through the quality of your eye contact. This might seem simple, but the science behind it is extraordinary. In 2015, a study published in the journal Science found that when dogs and their owners gaze into each other's eyes, both species experience a spike in oxytocin, the same hormone released between a mother and her newborn child during bonding. This was the first documented case of the oxytocin bonding loop occurring between two different species. What this tells us is that a long, soft, loving gaze between you and your dog is not just sweet, it is chemically and neurologically significant. It is one of the most direct ways your love is transmitted and received. The key word, though, is soft. A hard, unblinking stare is actually interpreted as a threat in dog body language. The loving gaze is relaxed, warm, slightly heavy-lidded, the same eyes you might make at someone you adore. When you sit with your dog and let your eyes say what your heart feels, your dog's brain literally responds by releasing the chemistry of love and trust. Do this every single day, especially in quiet moments, and you are speaking directly to your dog's deepest emotional wiring. The second way is through the specific way you use your hands when you touch them. Not all touch is equal to a dog. We know from research on animal behavior and stress physiology that slow, long strokes along the back, gentle pressure at the base of the ears, and soft circular motions at the chest and shoulders tend to lower a dog's heart rate and reduce cortisol levels. These are physiologically calming touches, the canine equivalent of a long, slow hug. Patting a dog rapidly on the top of the head, by contrast, is something most dogs merely tolerate. It does not signal safety or love in their sensory vocabulary. It is loud and startling. When you take the time to touch your dog slowly, deliberately, and in the areas they find genuinely comforting, you are not just petting them, you are performing a kind of daily medicine. You are regulating their nervous system. Dogs who receive this kind of intentional, calm physical contact on a regular basis show measurably lower anxiety, better immune function, and stronger social bonds with their owners. And the remarkable thing is that the same effect happens in you. Your cortisol drops, your oxytocin rises. The love you are giving is simultaneously healing you both. The third daily practice is one that most dog owners do without realizing how powerful it is, and that is talking to your dog in what researchers have started calling dog-directed speech. You probably already do this. It is that slightly higher-pitched, warmer, more expressive voice you use when you talk to your dog, the one you might be slightly embarrassed about if a stranger overheard. Well, it turns out that embarrassment is completely unwarranted, because a 2017 study from the University of York found that dogs are significantly more engaged and more bonded to people who use this style of speech compared to those who speak to dogs in a flat, adult-directed tone. What's more, the content actually matters. Dogs pay close attention to emotional tone and to words they have learned to associate with positive experiences, words like walk, play, good, treat, love. When you narrate your day to your dog, when you tell them you love them in that warm, expressive voice, when you say their name with genuine affection, you are communicating in a layered way that they are genuinely processing on multiple levels. The melody of your voice tells them the emotional weather. The familiar words anchor them to safety and pleasure. And the fact that you are choosing to direct all of that attention toward them, that you are talking to them rather than past them, tells them something deeply important. You see them. And being seen for a social animal is one of the most fundamental expressions of love that exists. The fourth way is through respecting their curiosity during walks, and this one asks something of you that is actually quite difficult in our distracted, fast-paced world. It asks you to slow down. Dogs experience the world primarily through their nose, and a walk for a dog is not primarily about physical exercise, it is about information gathering. Every fire hydrant, every patch of grass, every corner of the sidewalk is a layered message left by other animals, a kind of living newspaper written in scent. When you yank your dog away from an interesting smell because you are in a hurry, you are interrupting their primary way of understanding and navigating their world. When you allow them to stop and investigate, when you stand patiently while they spend 45 seconds with their nose buried in a patch of dirt, you are communicating respect. You are saying that their experience matters. You are acknowledging that the world looks and smells different to them than it does to you, and that their way of experiencing it is valid. Alexandra Horowitz, a dog cognition researcher at Barnard College, has called this the smell walk, a walk taken at the dog's pace for the dog's benefit, and she argues that it is one of the most enriching and genuinely loving things you can offer your dog on a daily basis. Love is not always about doing more. Sometimes it is about doing less, about releasing control and letting your dog be fully, gloriously themselves. The fifth daily expression of love is play, but play done with your full presence. Dogs are highly attuned to whether you are genuinely engaged or merely going through the motions. If you throw a ball while scrolling your phone, your dog registers the half-heartedness of it. They may still chase the ball, but something is missing. The electric connection of genuine mutual engagement. Real play between a dog and their owner involves eye contact, laughter, unpredictability, and a kind of mutual silliness that breaks down the usual boundaries between species. It is in those moments of real play that your dog sees you not as their caretaker or provider, but as their companion and co-conspirator. Research in animal behavior consistently shows that dogs who engage in regular high-quality play with their owners demonstrate lower aggression, lower anxiety, greater trainability, and stronger attachment security. Play is not a luxury for dogs, it is a psychological necessity. And when you are the one they get to play with, when you are the one whose eyes light up and whose movements become unpredictable and joyful, you become not just someone they depend on, but someone they genuinely delight in. There is no purer expression of love between two beings than shared delight. The sixth way is through the establishment of consistent routine, and this one operates entirely through the psychology of safety. Dogs are not just creatures of habit, they are creatures who derive profound psychological comfort from knowing what comes next. In the wild, predictability means safety. Unpredictability means danger. When you feed your dog at roughly the same time each day, when your morning walks follow a familiar rhythm, when the cues that signal your departure and return remain consistent, you are building what attachment researchers call a secure base. Your dog learns that you are reliable, that their needs will be met, that the world is orderly and safe because you are in it. This might not look like love from the outside, it does not involve grand gestures or emotional expressions, but to your dog's nervous system, consistency is one of the deepest forms of care imaginable. It is the daily, unspoken promise that you will be there. And for an animal whose entire sense of security is organized around their relationship with you, there is nothing more loving than being someone who keeps their promises, even the ones they never said out loud. The seventh, and perhaps most psychologically complex way to show your dog love every day is by learning to read their signals and responding to what you find there. This is about developing what you might call emotional fluency in your dog's body language, not in a clinical, detached way, but in the intimate way that comes from paying close attention to someone you love. A dog who is panting but not hot, whose eyes are slightly wide and whose yawning is frequent, is a stressed dog. A dog whose body suddenly becomes stiff when being petted is a dog communicating discomfort. A dog who approaches you with a soft, wiggly body and keeps glancing at you during a walk is a dog who is checking in, staying connected, telling you they love being with you. When you notice these signals, when you adjust your behavior in response to them, when you stop what you are doing because you can see your dog needs space or comfort or reassurance, you are demonstrating a form of love that requires nothing less than genuine attentiveness. You are showing your dog that their inner experience matters to you, and this is not a small thing. In the entire animal kingdom, across all the species that humans have ever lived alongside, no other animal has evolved the capacity that dogs have to track human emotional states and communicate their own. When you honor that capacity by becoming equally fluent in return, something remarkable happens. You stop being a person with a dog and you become two creatures in genuine relationship, seeing each other, responding to each other, shaped by each other in ways that go all the way down to the chemistry of your brains and the rhythm of your hearts. What brings all 7 of these practices together is something that cannot be manufactured or scheduled. It is presence. Full, unhurried, genuine presence. The dog at your feet right now does not need you to be perfect. They do not need you to be consistent every single day without fail, or to know every nuance of canine body language, or to give up every walk to their nose. What they need, what they are wired at the deepest biological level to need and to thrive within, is the felt sense that you are truly with them. That when you look at them, you are actually looking. That when you touch them, you are actually feeling. That when you call their name, it is not a reflex but an expression of something real. Dogs have been with us for somewhere between 15,000 and 40,000 years, depending on which archaeological or genetic evidence you find most convincing. In that time, they have not just adapted to live alongside us, they have evolved specifically to understand us, to communicate with us, to form bonds with us that mirror in their neurological depth the bonds we form with each other. They have given up the wolf's independence for the warmth of human connection. They have traded the pack for the family. And what they have asked for in return is not very much at all. Your eyes, your hands, your voice, your time, your consistency, and your willingness to pay attention. When you understand the psychology behind how dogs receive love, the daily gestures stop feeling like obligations and start feeling like what they actually are. Conversations, ongoing, wordless, deeply felt conversations between two beings who, against all evolutionary odds, found each other and decided to stay. Your dog already knows you love them. The question is whether you are showing up every day in the language they actually speak. And the answer, when you choose to be fluent, changes both of you in ways that are small and daily and utterly profound.